I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
All right. The following article was written by Michelle Malkin on February 24th, 2021, posted at 11:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. I want to be fair. I want to give credit where credit due. I want you to listen to this. This was written by a conservative blogger, sometimes a fake reporter, Michelle Malkin. She is an Asian woman of color. She is an Asian woman of color. I want to repeat that. All right, an Asian woman of color. All right. Can I have your attention, please? I'm going to share a little secret that liberal people of color and their public relation agents in the media don't want you to know. The recent crime wave against Asians in America's big cities is not the fault of Donald Trump, MAGA activists, conservative talk radio, or white people. It's the fault of perpetrators and the perpetrators alone, most of whom happen to be thugs of color. Let's pop the delusional bubble of left-wing Asians who marched this weekend in New York, Oakland, and San Francisco in unity protests against white supremacy. These wokesters blame anti-Asian bias created by an imagined backlash by imagined white supremacists against China because of COVID-19. Donning black and Asian unity t-shirts, they embraced the self-defeating attitude of Oakland organizer Eddie Zing, who wheedled, supporting our Asian community is not about dividing us. The support is for all of us suffering under white supremacy. We need to understand that so we can triumph and have public and personal safety. All right? That's what she wrote. All right? And just remember, that last line in that opening salvo was, "It's the fault of perpetrators and perpetrators alone, most of whom happen to be thugs of color," right? So after reading those first two paragraphs, she lists some, she lists some examples, you know, to make this racist piece of trash article, I guess, relevant in her skewed worldview. So she writes here, reality check. Just last week in Vallejo, California, Filipino-American store owner Mark Quiddet was shot 4 times in the leg by a gang of armed robbers. They were black. All right, I'll repeat that. Reality check. Just last week in Vallejo, California. I'm probably saying that wrong, but whatever. I'm black. Filipino-American store owner Mark Quiddet was shot 4 times in the leg by a gang of armed robbers. They were black. And then she writes, 2 weeks in Oakland's Chinatown, a 91-year-old Asian man was assaulted by an assailant amidst a crime wave of more than 20 robberies and violent attacks in that neighborhood. The attacker wasn't a white-hooded white man in a KKK robe. He was a masked black man in a black hoodie. In Daly City, California, an 84-year-old Thai grandfather died after a brutal attack while on a daytime walk in his neighborhood. His attacker was a teenage black criminal. Oh, excuse me. His attacker was a teenage black street criminal, right? Then she writes, viral videos have exposed several vicious attacks on elderly Asian subway riders and pedestrians in New York City since last fall, an inconvenient detail that anyone with functional eyes can see. The perpetrators in the security cameras aren't wearing MAGA hats. They don't have flaming crosses in hand. Inconveniently for the defund the police hipsters, the opportunists robbing, punching, and shooting Asians on those videos aren't white people. They are black. And that's just plain fact. More facts. Federal Bureau of Justice statistics show what, hold on. Sorry, Michelle, if you're listening. I'm gonna read that again. I get my substandard education, my public education, limits me sometimes, right? More facts. Federal Bureau of Justice statistics show that of nearly 600,000 violent interracial victimizations involving blacks and whites, black suspects committed 537,204 interracial felonies, not including homicides, or 90%, and whites committed 56,394 of them, or less than 10%. The Red Elephant blog points out that black perpetrators are also overrepresented amongst all perpetrators of hate crimes by 50%. According to the most recent Justice Department data from 2017, whites are underrepresented by 24%. You never hear these facts from the national propagandists and the so-called mainstream media. It's a sin of omission that amounts to journalistic malpractice. The leftist Trump derangement syndrome sufferers have zero evidence that thugs robbing, punching, and murdering vulnerable elderly Asians have ever cared one iota about politics, the virus, race, or Donald Trump. They have zero evidence that these street attacks were inspired by anti-Asian hate, as opposed to pure opportunism, criminal malice, or plain evil. These crimes in liberal cities are spiking as radical George Soros-backed district attorneys enact soft-on-crime policies such as restorative justice that let violent criminals run free. Chesa Boudin, San Francisco Soros-supported DA and son of convicted Weather Underground terrorist, dropped robbery, elderly abuse, and hate crime charges last year against a 20-year-old black suspect caught on tape attacking an elderly Asian man. Burglaries, arson, and murder, vehicle theft. Well, okay, sorry. Sorry, Michelle. Sorry, got me there. Burglaries, arson, and motor vehicle thefts have all spiked as Boudin has abandoned prosecution of quality of life crimes, as well as prosecutions for felony arrests. When you elect soft on crime politicians and prosecutors, you get more crime. When you defund and demonize the police, all innocent citizens are unsafe, whatever their color. Now I can't read any more of this stuff. I'll put a link in there and you can read it. And if since I'm a black person and I'm an anti-Asian or whatnot, I'm doing my part to be a better ally to certain racist elements in this Asian community across the diaspora. And I'm gonna post a link here so you guys can go read it for yourself because I'm throwing up in my mouth while reading this. I'm throwing up in my mouth. Whatnot. This woman is of Filipino descent. She's a Filipina. All right. I'm about to get me some claps. All right, about to get me some claps on her. Oh my God. Sorry, I just lost it. I just lost it, man. I get vomit in my mouth. Yeah, something's wrong with this woman. Anyway, it's not because of her political affiliation or that she proclaims herself to be a conservative, which I don't believe. I believe she is an opportunist, and this is just about money. Okay? And the only reason you have a platform is because you're insane. You're insane. I am not a Republican. I am sure as hell not a Democrat and shit. And I don't even know if I have a political affiliation at this point in this country or whatnot, for your information. And I don't, and I'm not a racist. But you are a racist, Miss Malkin. You are a fucking racist. And I haven't even started this clapback. All right, Miss Malkin, before I get started clapping your ass, before I get started, my retort, let's keep it clear here. I just want to say that, I got no love for you, right? And I got no love for you because you are ignorant. You are an ignorant person, whatnot. You have all this hatred and smoke for our ethnic community. And what have we ever done for you? But what have we ever done to you, actually? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, it's hard to keep my composure. You're so racist. You're so blatantly racist and whatnot. and you haven't been in our community. You don't interact with us. You don't know shit about us or whatnot. I can tell from the way you talk and whatnot. And you're a big asshole. You have a crazy eye. All right, and I'm sorry to be crass about that. But before I get started, my brief retort, which might have some expletives in it, I want to say, hey, you got all that hate for the brothers. All right, you got all that hate for black men specifically. And, I want to know, what if there was no such thing as David Fagan? All right? Do you know who fucking David Fagan is, bitch? Well, David Fagan, well, they say he was born in 1875, but no one knows when he died. He was an African American soldier, I want to say a black soldier, who defected during the Philippine American War. He acquired the rank of captain in the Philippine Revolutionary Army. Right? He was black. He was definitively black, okay? All right. And he was a native of Tampa, Florida. Fagan served in the 24th Regiment of the U.S. Army, but on November 17th, 1899, he defected to the Filipino Army. He became a successful guerrilla leader, and his capture became an obsession to the U.S. military and American public. His defection was likely the result of deferential treatment by white American occupational forces towards African American soldiers, as well as common white American forces' derogatory treatment of Filipinos. All right, I want to bring that up again. Part of his defecting was part of the white American forces' derogatory treatment and views of the Filipino occupational resistance, who were frequently referred to as, you guessed it, niggers and goo-goos. All right, goo-goos, that's what they called you guys. That's what the white people you love so much, the white guys back in those ancient white guys, that's what they called Filipinos. They called them niggers too, and goo-goos. After two other black deserters were captured and executed, President Theodore Roosevelt announced that he would stop executing captured deserters. All right. Now, they never called David Fagan, okay? They said they called him. There's a supposed death list listed on Wikipedia. And it says, as the war ended, the U.S. gave amnesty to most of their opponents. A substantial reward was offered for Fagan, who was considered a traitor. There are two conflicting versions of his fate. One is that his partially decomposed head was submitted to them for a reward. The other is that he got married to a local Filipino woman and lived peacefully in the mountains. And I tend to go with the latter more than not, because once you get out of a racial situation, a extreme racial situation, you would do anything not to go back to that, man. It is PTSD, and plus he was a skilled soldier and he knew the terrain of the Philippines. All right, this guy was responsible for helping turn the tide in the Filipino-American War, and then like hundreds of years later, you got a dark-skinned Filipino woman demonizing black men, and she don't even know her history herself. She might have some black in her, okay? You might be a distant relative to Mr. Fagan here, Miss Malkin. I've seen your features, and they do resemble some of the people in our community. You got that little button nose, and you got a little extra in that dark skin. That is not an Asian look, all right. So black people helped liberate your country of origin, okay? All right, your proud Filipino country. You're awesome. You're awesome, Miss Malkin. You're fucking ignorant. All right. So just shove that down your craw. David Fagan. All right. Why don't you and your white husband look that up on Wikipedia or just Google it? Okay. Google it, baby. Google it. You idiot. Miss Malkin. Looking at you and your extreme, I don't even know what to call it, man. Everybody has the right. This is supposedly a free country, even now in 2021. This is supposedly still a free country, but man, I gotta say, geez, when I read your articles and listen to you talk about certain things, and your your holy crusade to get a serial rapist released from prison, man, I just shaking my head, just shaking my head, man. They supposedly you're from Philadelphia, you know, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, right? You're well, I guess first generation or something. Your parents were Philippine citizens, so they immigrated over here, and who knows? I don't know. They got their American dream. They immigrated in here, or not. And they were supposedly Republicans, and they radicalized you at some point in your childhood. Something broke in your little skull there, and you look. I don't have a problem with the conservatives or Republicans by any means. Republicans don't lie to black people. Whatnot. They let us know they hate us every day. All right, and we don't care. We don't care when we can see those racists coming a mile away, just like we can see you. You're so racist. You're like the fucking Human Torch and shit. All right. And I really don't understand your obsession with getting Daniel Holtzclaw out of jail after he raped so many women, including a minor. We never even know how many people he actually raped. He raped them, okay? Black women, okay? Don't you feel disgusted, because you're a racist? You're I don't even know what they would call you, in our community we call people like you a fucking Oreo, but I don't know what to call you. There's nothing I could call you without getting a strike or something on this fucking social media. But look, why be crass, right? Why be crass? Hey, why you got all this hate for the black community? All right, why you got all this hate? Have you noticed? You put all those examples in your paper, but like the people doing the most to you guys are the people you worship. All right, they're the people you worship at their foot. All right, you want to be white so bad, but you can only ever be an honorary white. All right, and that's your privilege, okay? But I don't know what to make of you as a person, okay? And I hope I never have to make another commentary again. I hope I never do this again. Well, not because you disgust me. You disgust me, woman. You have a crazy eye. You have a crazy look in your face. Well, now, I've seen races before, all kinds of races. And I want to tell you, in my marriage, my father-in-law was a Republican. He was a Republican. And we had respect for each other. He never bothered me or used words left wing or right wing. He never said any of that shit. And he was a dyed in the wool Republican. He's gone now. He was a dyed in the fucking wool Republican up his ass. Okay, all his whole life till he died. All right? And he never bothered me. We had some jokes. We make little jokes, but he left me the fuck alone. He never messed with me. I was amongst him and his family, and they never fucked with me. Okay? None of the family. And honestly, man, when I look at you, you look radicalized. You look like you need some help. You need to get a couch or something because you have so much hate for our ethnic community. I would like you to explain that. Why you hate black men so much when they have a long and storied history with your country and helping to free it to be politically autonomous or not. You guys did make of it what you want. All right, but you're born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm starting to think that's like Alabama North or some shit. I don't know. That's a shitload of racists coming out of Philadelphia, like some big time racists just coming out of that shit. I don't know what the fuck. You say you're a Republican. I don't think the Republicans want you. Okay, I don't think they want you. Yeah, you work for some conservative, entities and whatnot. You a blogger and all that bullshit. But you're crazy, man. They probably keep you at arm's length. So obviously I was offended this bullshit article you wrote, and it's cool because as far as I'm concerned, and most people in my ethnic background, we're not consolidating with anyone. Okay, we're going to try to stay alive in your system. All right, your racist system. We want to stay alive. We want to survive. We're going to go to the next generation and shit. We're going to have some babies and we're going to teach our babies stuff. And you guys just keep being racist, man. It's just bringing us closer and closer together. You keep trying to separate us from our fucking women, okay? It's just bringing us closer and closer together, man. We're talking to each other now, okay? You got that, Miss Malkin? You whack nut? Right? And if you get a magical wish in your life, if you get a magical wish, you just wish that David Sagan never existed, and then see where the fuck you would be. Or your parents, goddammit. Oh man. You know, I was gonna say more, but I'm just I'm disgusted. You are crazy. All right, you are a crazy chick, man. You need some help. You need to go get a therapist. You are a wacky chick, man. But I'll do you a solid. I'll link your article in the comments section. I'll link your article down below this in this video. Okay, just to be fair, you know, even though I know I'm a lowly black man, you know, a Klingon, you know, a monster, you know, we're the bad guy. I'm gonna do you a solid, man. I'm gonna put this article so that people can click on that shit and go look at it for themselves. All right, Miss Malkin? All right? Yeah. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, whoever's listening to this bullshit. Michelle Magalang. That's her original name. That's her maiden name, Magalang. You know, she's a whack nut, man. She's so crazy that the Republican and Christian institutions, educational institution she went to, they didn't even like her ass there. They didn't like her there. Maybe she didn't think about it. Maybe it's because she's a dark-skinned Filipino woman with African American features. She hates herself, right? She hates herself. She hates everything about herself. And if she could turn herself into a white blonde woman tomorrow, she would. Right? Yeah. Whew. Well, fuck it. Michelle, I'm out. Salamat. Yeah, I guess you didn't know I spoke a little bit of Tagalog, huh? I bet you don't even speak your own fucking language, but I can hold a okay conversation in your native language, bitch. Take care.